Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back to Fundamentalist Fails, where we're checking out the greatest fails by all fundamentalists in the last week or so. This was a weird one that I got, and it was incredibly fun. I want to do a disclaimer. I've never seen K-pop Demon Hunters. Now I kind of wanna. Now I want to. Like, seriously, this is absolutely. Oh, hey, Max. This is absolutely a case of the Streisand effect. If the Streisand effect, if you're unaware, is basically Barbra Streisand. Now, the background is Barbra Streisand had this magnificent mansion. She was very proud of it. Very, 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 very proud of it. And somebody did a shot of the exterior from helicopter. And it was kind of like she went online and said this is an invasion of privacy and tried to sue the people who took this picture. As a result, it became bigger. It became bigger and more overwhelming, and it basically got out of control. People were taking tons of shots of her house. It's like sometimes the best thing you can do is just say, you do whatever you want to over there. I'm fine over here. It's sort of basically railing against something can call attention to it. But this is one that I found, and I feel great today. Actually, Friday's my favorite day. I know it may not be your Friday yet. It may be Thursday night. And, I accept that from you. I accept that you're on the wrong time. That's fine. That's fine. But Friday's my favorite day because I get to do these fundamentalist fails, which is my favorite segment of the entire week. I got to say, it absolutely is. And this was weird. Now, this is a guy called Vladimir Savchuk. He basically runs a Hungry Gen church. That's a weird name for a church. Hungry Gen Church. Okay. Hungry Gen. I don't know what that Hungry Generation is. What is that? It's very weird, but it's a sort of an evangelical church that, he does faith healing and all kinds of stuff. He's a traveling preacher, and he's just so weird. He's a weird one. So he does all of the faith healing and the demon casting out and all of that kind of nonsense that we're used to. But this one was really weird because it was basically, so the name of this first video, and I got a couple because he's done this before. So the couple that I got, The Dark Truth Behind Netflix K-Pop Demon Hunters. Wait, there's a dark truth? Oh, thanks, Bart. Thank you. I'm with you. But so The Dark Truth. What dark truth are we looking for here? I don't know. I'm eager to find out. But I've never wanted to watch a K-pop a K-pop show so much before after seeing this. Like, seriously. Star Wars has always taught me that often doing nothing is the best. Often doing nothing is the best action to take. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think you really got to pick your battles, though. Like, that's something that I had to sort of learn. Yeah, we got to pick our battles, really. If something isn't really, learning when to fight is almost as important as learning how to fight, kind of thing. Like, just if it's not a big deal, let it go. Like, if it's not worth the effort, just let it go. And that's hard to do. It's a lot harder than it sounds. Yeah, we're hunting demons today, apparently. Look, apparently, like, they're demon hunters. I don't know what the problem's going to be. I have no idea. Now, straight up, if you've seen the show, give me a rating. Tell me what it's like. Tell me if it's worth it or not. I'm not a huge fan of K-pop. Look, there was like one BTS song that I liked. I don't remember what the song was. I got to be honest with you. BTS song list. I'll see if I can find it. I can't remember what it was. I honestly don't know what it was, but there was one BTS song that I did like, but that was about it that I heard that I liked, kind of thing. Maybe it was Run BTS. I'm not 100% sure. Hang on a sec. Let me see if it was this one. I'm certainly not going to play BTS on stream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You can't make me. Uh, I don't know. Okay. Um, it's a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good movie. Okay. It's 10 out of 5. So good. Okay. Well, apparently, so just for some background as well. So, hang on. I'll just sort of minimize that for the moment while I'm still talking. Just give me 1 second. So apparently K-pop Demon Hunters outperformed any other show on Netflix, and it sort of it absolutely just like it exceeded I think the second runner up was, I can't remember what it was. Let me look it up. Oh, and Glass Onion. Um First theatrical release was the widest for a Netflix film and the first to top the box office in the United States. So yeah, apparently it did gangbusters. So hey, I want to see it now. That I did not know this thing even really. I think I saw it on Netflix briefly. You know, I did pass it by and went, oh, well, I'm not a huge fan of K-pop, but um, yeah, sure, that's a thing that exists. Sure, why not? Why not? Um, so I did research into a little bit into K-pop. You know, just be warned, okay? I can't find the BTS song that I actually liked, so you know, sad on me. It's a tough life. I'm going to be doing this stuff, and I've also got like yeah, I've got some sparkles. So you know, K-pop sparkles. You know, the little love hearts, the little love hearts that they do. Apparently, I did not know this, but they do little love hearts like that. Kawaii. No, that's Japanese. That's wrong. That's Japanese. I'm familiar with kawaii because it's Japanese, but I don't know a lot about K-pop. So forgive me that I don't know. But yeah, I'll turn those sparkles off. Yep. All right. But that you know that's all I know about K-pop really, and that BTS like absolutely killed it. Look, I met people like that were. I know I met somebody at the gym who was like a I mean she was older than I was and she absolutely loved BTS, so they're absolutely doing gangbusters, you know, like absolutely. So hey, biblical dating advice? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Well, today we're not doing dating. We are doing Korean pop demon hunters though, because apparently that's something he felt the need to make a video about, and it's the dark truth. The dark truth. I love the way these people like put in their you know things. The dark truth behind K-pop demon hunters. Oh boy. All right. Hang on a sec. I got to buckle up because this is yeah, this is something. This is something. Yeah, Vlad Savach. So apparently he's a Ukrainian of origin, and you look, I feel for any Ukrainian at the moment. I really do. Let's start talking about the dark truth behind Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine. I mean, do K-pop demon hunters really qualify as something to rail against? You know, we have real problems. We have real problems like the Russian Orthodox Church supporting Putin and his, you know, absolute despotic rule over there in Russia. Like we have some actual real problems. I'm not sure why a anime series on Netflix is really the main problem you want to go for, but hey, apparently so. Apparently so. but he is one of these really dodgy sort of ministers kind of thing, the evangelical ministers, does the faith healing, does the stuff, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. My gaming chair needs a seatbelt. Damn right, man. I'm gonna have mine installed. I'm gonna get a harness considering what I do on this channel. It's crazy, crazy. But let's go. What is it?
Hey friends, Pastor Vlad here. I want to talk to you about the movie that's getting a lot of attention right now. Netflix, K-pop, Demon Hunters.
Why do I feel like if this didn't get so much attention, he wouldn't be talking about it at all? You know what I mean? Like it just would be whatever. I why? Like, it's so innocuous. It's so innocuous. It just doesn't even register. And don't worry, this is a short video, but I have another one after lined up in the barrel. This is a shotgun stream, a double barrel shotgun stream. So it's going to be K-pop Demon Hunters, followed by an older video, which is why the Little Mermaid is evil. Just saying. Just saying.
It became a major hit with young people.
It sure did, and I want to speed you up just a little. Yeah, as I said, not just young people. So the weird thing about K-pop, and well, it's not really weird. It's just one of the interesting things is that K-pop doesn't just appeal to a younger generation. You find like 50-year-old housewives who love K-pop. It's upbeat. It's uplifting. It basically is really, really peppy and poppy, and it is really one of the things that I say about K-pop, or I've seen about K-pop, is that it is sort of this it's upbeat, and the production value is very high. Right, that's one thing I have noticed. The production value is on point. Like, the people doing it have massive production values. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of K-pop. I like the song by BTS. I don't mind it. It's just, not my thing. And I have very selective taste in music. I like Electro Swing, right? I like that. I do like some Western pop. I don't mind some K-pop. That's the thing. I liked the BTS song. I liked some other K-pop. Just not, I'm not all in. But hey, for music for sort of films and stuff, sure, why not? You know what I'm prepared to bet though, that K-pop is better than Christian rock. Okay, I'm going to put that out there, or Christian pop for that matter. I'm going to put that out there. Contentious statement, I know. It's a contentious statement, but I'm prepared to bet that it's better than Christian songs. Yeah, absolutely. I do have a special relationship with anime. Yes. Anime is awesome. I'm a big fan of anime. I wouldn't say in my teenage years that I really got into anime. The first anime that I ever saw, I mean, I was really into Japanese anime. The whole deal with that. So anime shows that the first anime that I saw and absolutely loved was Black Lagoon, right? If you'd seen it, you know it. It's basically a sort of a almost like a pirate one, where they have like this an attack boat kind of thing. It's really cool. It's really cool, but it's basically modern pirates kind of thing, and I really liked it. It was awesome. I really loved Cowboy Bebop. I have mixed feelings about the live-action Cowboy Bebop, but Cowboy Bebop, the anime, was awesome. Was absolutely awesome. Cowboy Bebop was fantastic. What else did I really absolutely adore? I was a bit mixed on Attack on Titan. I liked the early Attack on Titan. I never really got that much into it, even though I enjoyed the first few. But I really did love Kobayashi of the Iron Fortress, which was won by the same people. I actually really liked that one. So yeah, Revy does rock. Yeah, thank you, chat. You know where I'm coming from. She had an attitude. She had jorts, cut off jorts, and she was not afraid to mix it up. Absolutely. There you go. Revy rules. Gotcha. Rock Jesus. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Godspeed. I really do. But look, and anime. I watched way too much Bleach. I watched way too much Bleach. I could not follow it forever. I watched. What else have I seen that I really enjoyed as far as anime is concerned? There's a whole lot. There's a whole lot. Um, I remember an anime film from Korea, which was, oh God, I can't remember the name of it, but it was so weird and so odd. Um, Achi and Shippak. Achi and Shippak. If you've never seen Achi and Shippak, it's Korean. It's so strange, and yeah. I never got into One Piece, ya hooligan. Never got into One Piece. I thought the live action was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good, but I never got into One Piece. I just it wasn't my style. DBZ, come on now. No, I never watched DBZ either. Never watched Naruto. I did watch Fairy Tail for a long stint. I certainly did watch Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail was great. Oh, Akira, yeah. I mean, Akira was one of the greats. That was incredible. Akira was that was a movie, and it was like really good, way ahead of its time for anime. Evangelion, I watched. Evangelion was fantastic. I thought that was amazing. Absolutely fantastic, and I'm still a huge fan of Studio Ghibli. Studio Ghibli is just phenomenon. It's just phenomenal. It's just so good. Ghost in the Shell, yeah, I did watch Ghost in the Shell. All right, we're going to be talking about Japanese anime if I let this continue. We're doing K-pop Demon Hunters, okay? Just stop. Stop. It's K-pop Demon Hunters. All right? Don't get it twisted. We're doing K-pop Demon Hunters. Oh, Elven Lied. Yeah, no, that was absolutely brutal. That was Elven Lied. Yeah, yeah, that was not for children. I'll tell you that right now. Holy crap. That was rough. Really rough. But, I mean, yeah. You know what? I did like High School of the Dead until the fan service got too much for me. What's fan service, you ask? Well, if you have to ask, you'll never know. You'll never know. But I did like that until the fan service got... Anyway, we're talking about K-pop Demon Hunters, which has done fantastic, and now I want to see it. Like I said to my wife, like just before, I said, hey, the Christians hate it. And she's like, we're going to have to watch it then. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to have to watch it. Absolutely. Look, if the Christians are getting mad about something, I instantly want to see it. I'm not a huge K-pop fan. I guess I'm just trying to get across that I'm not a huge K-pop fan. I am a huge anime fan. I really am. I do love some anime. Oh, if you want to see an anime that's actually amazing, Arcane, the League of Legends anime on Netflix, is actually fantastic. It's fantastic. Just amazing. Just so good. So good. And so, like, K-pop turned me off this, but now I got to see it. Okay, good, Jeff. Yeah. Strap up, buddy. Let's do it.
Even after like 5 weeks. It's colorful, it's musical, it's breaking streaming records, and kids everywhere are watching it on repeat.
Apparently adults are watching it on repeat as well, and kids are sure. Yeah, I mean it's an anime. What do you expect? Kids watch anime, sir. I don't know what you want out of this. Okay. Is this a pearl clutch by this guy, or won't somebody think of the children? I what what? Oh, what else is good on Netflix? Castlevania, really good, really good. I really good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But while it may look like just another fun cartoon about good versus evil, underneath the surface there's some serious spiritual issues.
Yeah, it is good versus evil. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's like Bleach, right? If you've ever seen Bleach, there's basically this thing about the hollows and their Love, Death and Robots good? Yeah, absolutely. Jedi. That one, Love, Death and Robots, because that's an anthology. It can be great. They can be a bit more average. You know, it's a bit hit and miss with Love, Death and Robots, but definitely worth it for those good ones. Definitely worth it. Um, so this is a good versus evil, whichever way you want to look at it. And so, um, but it's not just that, right? Like, so as far as I understand it, it gets more nuanced than that. And this is the whole point. What we want to do is stop people in general, also kids, but people in general, this whole black and white thinking. This side's good, that side's evil, and that's it. Um, Life's more nuanced than that. It's a lot more nuanced than that. It's I think that in a way the sort of Japanese influence, the influence of outside forces, the influence of filmmakers from around the world, when they're presenting it in, well, it's not just black and white. Like, it's not just good guy versus bad guy. That can be very tiring after a while. Just, well, he's the chosen one. He's automatically the good guy and they're automatically the bad guy. When it becomes nuanced, like people were talking about, and I know you might disagree, but Thanos being in the Marvel series, Thanos, the Mad Titan, being sort of nuanced because he really believes he is doing good, right? Like, so this nuanced idea of how do we have somebody that wants the best for people and does horrible things at the same time. That nuance is there, and that makes the best villains, the best sort of, um, the best way that we can evaluate it. Um, Give me one sec. Yeah.
That parents need to know about. Now, the story about this cartoon follows a group of girls called Huntrix, which is a 3 K-pop idols who use their voice.
Oh wow, she's got a Naginata, or I don't know, maybe it's got a different name in South Korea, but that was a Naginata, which I do. Was it a Naginata? That's Japanese, but it's kind of like or it's sort of like a traditional bladed polearm in Korea. A dangpa, I think it is. No, that's a three-pronged trident. No, it's definitely not that. I want to learn these weapons now. I really do. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that is a Japanese polearm of Kenkone. Yeah. Okay. I like it. I like it. That's just a freaking halberd kind of thing. Yeah. I'm right on board. Look, I'm showing my westernness. Those are like kunai. They're probably traditional Japanese weapons. You know what I mean? I'll see if they've got anything in the um. So kunai are a Japanese throwing knife kind of thing, usually held in threes. I'm not sure if Korea has its own version. Uh, Korean polearms. Um, no, those are Western polearms. Don't show me that. Come on. Come on. Pudao? Uh, so Michimodo, eyebrow sword. I'm sorry for my pronunciations as well. Anybody out there from Korea is probably slapping themselves right now. Um, but it's called like translated as an eyebrow sword. Okay, I can't find a picture, but it's pretty cool. Like it reminds me of the Guandao, which is like a massive sword on a pole. You know, because why not? Why not?
which is a 3 K-pop
Sword? Yeah, okay, so sword. The sword's going to be the leader. Swords, like in Japan, are associated with leadership. Um, yeah, but I just feel like I got your Godspeed, but I feel like I've got to say the Korean names rather than the Japanese ones because it's important to realize that Japanese culture and Korean culture are very different, right? They're very different countries. I don't like to just lump everything into Japan, right? Just lump everything in because they have their own culture, their own stuff, and their own traditions. So I think it's fantastic learning about other traditions, other cultures, other histories, other mythology. You know, so I'm on board with this, 100% on board with it.
idols who use their voices to fight demons. They protect the world with something called Hanmun Barrier, and they hope to achieve the golden Hanmun to permanently lock evil away. But
Oh, how dare they? How dare they? How dare they lock evil away? Oh no. Oh no. So this Honmoon barrier is like it's like a sort of wall between worlds essentially, and it locks them away. Gotcha. Okay, I'm not sure why that's a bad thing. I'm not sure why that's awful or whatever, but you know, not 100% sure. But hey, we're on board. We're on board. Yes, let's lock the evil away. Let's you know what? And so when going through this, right, you've got to understand, and like an ordinary sane person would go, hey, this is just a story, right? It's just a story. It's made up. Like some people sat and probably had like a few, you know, Korean people there with you know an idea about their mythology, you know, and they probably had a few mythologies, and but I don't think this is sort of um, you know, I think this is only for K-pop demon hunters. I mean, all it means is apparently it just means Honmoon means soul door or spirit gate. That's it. I I don't I don't understand. I don't understand why they take it seriously. It I don't like. It's just somebody made it up. Like there is no demons. There's no. But this guy believes in literal demons, or at least he says he does. And he's got like 2 million subscribers, huge following. Claims to do the faith healing that evangelicals do, cast out demons, that kind of thing. So somebody just makes some wild stuff up. Um, you know, there's a lot of he just sees it and goes, well, we've got to, you know, this is all real. No, it's not. They made it up. They made it up. It's just made up. It's make believe. But you know, this is what demons are. Well, yeah, I get you. I get you. You're technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. You are correct. Yes. Ember's got it. If they purge evil from the world, there's no more need for Jesus or something. Yeah. So if they you know they're claiming to be able to save you from demons, only Jesus can do that. Only Jesus. Come on, dude. Seriously. Let the kids have their fun. I mean, why? Why?
The twist is this, that the leader of this group, Rumi, is secretly part a demon herself.
Oh no. Okay. So what? Demons are not real, my guy. They're not real. Like, seriously. She's part demon herself. Okay.
And so as this plot unfolds, she hides her scars and wrestles with shame, falls in love with the demon from the rival boy band, and at the end, she doesn't overcome her darkness, she actually embraces it. So why is this
Oh, okay. So it's embracing darkness. Okay. So I see what his problem is. I see what his problem is, that she is accepting herself with her flaws rather than suppressing deep down her flaws, and therefore that must be bad. Right. So why should we accept our flaws? Because they are a part of us. The problem with this style of Christianity, where you blame everything on demons, which, to be honest with you, the comments in this, like some of the people in there talking about, you know, their demons and what they do and they're fighting against them, really, I mean, it is just wow. It is really unhealthy, right? So studies have shown that when we look at people that suppress things, that suppress their emotions, suppress negative sides of them, suppress bad things, it just comes out in some way eventually. That's why you see, you know, they talk about being these paradigms of goodness and good things, and you know, Christians can be absolutely dreadful while still claiming they are the epitome of good. So the whole point of this is going to be, you've got to accept that you have a dark side. You have to. Everybody does. Being an adult means coming to grips with the fact that you're going to have negative emotions, and it's what you do with them that's important. You don't deny that they exist. You don't blame other things for them. When you get petty, angry, jealous, lustful, anything, you don't say, oh, that's a demon, that's not me. No, it's a part of you, but it's how you act on them and what you do with them, whether you address them in a healthy way or whether you are self-destructive. That's the problem, when you're self-destructive about them. And knowing from going to a lot of therapy and a lot of psychologists myself, pushing down bad things will not get rid of them. Those emotions will find a place to come out in a probably in a very unhealthy way, right? Incredibly unhealthy way. So we want to accept that we will have these negative emotions, and they're not demons from around us. They are just part of the human experience. Emotions, so people have sort of said, oh, it's wrong to feel that way. No, it's never wrong to feel anything, okay, ever. No emotion is wrong, okay? All emotions are valid. Now, the thoughts behind it may be wrong, but the emotion is just there to tell you something about yourself, right? So if you feel jealous of somebody, it's not that emotion is wrong. It's that you have to look at why you are jealous of somebody. Maybe you are unhappy with the way that your life has gone. Maybe you're you want to have that yourself and can't find it. It's important to contextualize that it isn't about them, it's the emotions about you, and deal with it in a healthy way and talk about it. You know, like this whole thing of, oh, that's a demon, cast you out, demon, in the name of Jesus. That doesn't actually address the underlying problem or the underlying thing that has caused that emotion. It doesn't address it. All it does is just push it down, and it'll come back stronger because the problem hasn't actually been addressed. So this is why this form of suppression of emotion, suppression of anything bad, is just, it's terrible. It's terrible because it never actually fixes anything. You know, I feel jealous. Okay, what is it about that I feel that I'm lacking? How can I address that in a healthy way? Can I instead take inspiration from this person in order to change my own life into what I want it to be? Like, that's a healthy way to go about it. You know, is it I feel that they're doing something that isn't right and therefore they don't deserve whatever it is that they're getting? Maybe that's the case, but there's better ways to address that than just going, oh, that's a demon. Huh? No, it's not a demon. It's not. You know, lustful thoughts they often attribute to demons. It's like, well, if you're having a lustful thought, you can basically go, well, that person is attractive, but I don't have to act on it, and it would be inappropriate to do so. Wow, so attractive. You're so attractive, chat. I just caught my throat. So attractive. But, you know, you can have sexual thoughts without acting on them and, you know, just accept, hey, that's just a thought. It's fine. It's a normal part of human experience. Totally fine. Which side has mocha? Do you mean mochi? I don't know. Mocha? That would be the demon hunters. Okay, demon hunters have mocha. Oh, I love mocha. I love mocha. Look, we can't live our lives. We can't live our lives just having good emotions and there's nothing bad. Like, we just can't live like that. Okay. There was a song that I absolutely loved. So it's K-pop. This one's not K-pop. It was by Ren, and it's called Ren. But at the end, he said something absolutely fascinating. Right? He said something absolutely fascinating, which I adored. Because he thought it was his job to defeat the forces of evil, and that caused him a lot of grief, a lot of pain, and psychosis, essentially. Which is just heartbreaking. Because the forces of evil are part of you. You know, what you see as the forces of evil is just a normal human experience. But he sort of said that the battle wasn't his to win. And I am paraphrasing, so I apologize. But he said the battle isn't his to win. It's not a fight. It's a pendulum swinging from the light to the dark. It's just you know, sort of the pendulum swings to the light to the dark. And the more you resist, like a dance, right? He says it's like a dance. And the more you resist, the more clumsy your footsteps will be. So learn to relax and soften, and the dance will become easier, right? Like, just learn to soften against it and say, hey, like, if you're having a day where you're just angry at everybody, just accept that. You're having a shit day. It doesn't define you as a person. It doesn't make you anything. You're just having a bad day. We all have them. That's okay. That's okay. You don't, like, but the Christian will go, oh, that's demons. I have to plaster on a smile and pretend. No, you don't. It's okay. You're good with a demon giving you lustful thoughts? How dare you? How dare you, Jeff? You. Oh, won't somebody think of Jeff? Won't somebody think of Jeff? Possessed by a demon? Yeah, it's very strange. There's sort of, you know, like, I don't know if you've ever said before, like, I'm having a really bad day. I feel really crap. Sorry for, being horrible. I'm just in a mood. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool.
exploding in popularity? Well, it checks every box for kids and teens: upbeat K-pop music, emotional storytelling, themes of acceptance, and vibrant animations. It's
Oh yeah, themes of acceptance. How dare they? This is sort of getting on the emptier sin, but acceptance, yeah. Yeah, so there's something in psychology that they call acceptance and commitment therapy, right? ACT, I believe it is. So it basically says that, these negative emotions, we've got to accept them as our own and commit to changes to address the problem in the background. So there's kind of this idea of radical acceptance, that we need to accept everything that's happened to us and the emotion that it's created. Um, it it you know, I I this is something that helps. We accept when these emotions come in. We have to, because they are part of us. So this is sort of, I don't see this as healthy. I don't see this as healthy. You like the pretty girls? Yeah, fair call. Fair call. Uh, Greg Locke. Okay, I'll write it down. I'll write it down. Cast them out of person. Yeah, no, I gotta. Didn't I think I've only seen one thing by Greg Locke, and that was the he did a flat Earth debate. He did a flat Earth debate, which was hilarious because it was like Christian against Christian, and it was absolutely hilarious. I did that um with Ember, and Greg Locke was getting big mad because the flat Earth crew was like winning the debate kind of thing. And he didn't know how to run a debate, so like they could talk for as long as they wanted kind of thing. It was actually funny. Here, I'll bookmark that. I'll bookmark Locke Media. Oh god, what the pretentiousness. Yeah, Locke versus Odell. That was the other guy. Yeah, yeah.
engineered to pull on the heartstrings, and it feels empowering to this culture. But we gotta understand is there is a message that is being sent through this. Beneath all of this glitter
Oh
and
no.
music, there's a spiritual message that parents need to be alert.
There's no spiritual message, my guy. There's no spiritual message. It's just a cartoon, my guy. It's just a cartoon. Like, seriously. Look, I remember um any of these things where it's like, oh, they're half whatever, half troll or something. It's not. It's just a message for acceptance. That's all. Uh, like, well, we've got to fight against demons. You're literally fighting against yourself, my guy. You're literally fighting against yourself.
To. Number one, it normalizes the supernatural in shamanistic way. Instead of teaching kids to look to Jesus Christ as the deliverer, the
A shamanistic way. You mean like Korean mythology? I don't know a lot. Look, I don't know a lot about Korean mythology, I got to admit. I know a little bit about Japanese mythology, like Oni are the demons in that. I'd imagine it's probably the same. But it's just talking about. So this is from the AI thing, which is. I might go onto Wikipedia. I'm not going to trust AI. Diverse oral mythology, mostly narratives sung by shamans or priestesses. So that's why it's shamanistic, because the mythology is. It's not, it's just mythology, my guy. I don't see the problem. It's not teaching Jesus Christ. Well, nothing's teaching Jesus Christ except Christian things. I don't.
movie presents this mythical barrier and magic songs as a way to fight demons. This actually blends in with a lot of Asian shamanism, New Age, and pop culture, not the scriptures. And it desensitizes children to actual real.
Yeah, I don't think in the mythology they fought against demons using K-pop. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that shamanism, ancient shamanism of Korea involved K-pop. I could be wrong, but I don't think it. No, this way to fight against them was made up, my guy. Like they just made them up. Vlad, they made them up. Some writers sat down and said, you know what would be cool? If K-pop banished demons. Like I'm serious, dude. This isn't a conspiracy. It isn't shamanism. It's writers going, how do we get K-pop to look really cool? Oh, it banishes demons from Korean mythology. And you're going, how dare you? Like, dude, come on. You know what? It really boggles the mind that they take this so Oh, Catapop? Absolutely. Absolutely. Catbug! Absolutely. What the hell?
Spiritual warfare. Secondly, it blurs the lines between good and evil.
Has there been a Jesus anime? Has there been a Jesus anime? Because why don't you bring out your own anime? Like, why don't you just do your own movie with Jesus in it? Okay, My Last Day is a 2011 Christian anime short film. Well, there's your problem. Get a Netflix thing. Manga Messiah? Okay, there's been a couple. They obviously haven't done that well. Maybe it's just not that good of a story. Maybe your story sucks. Get in some non-Christian writers. What? There's a Jesus fighting game? I think that's, yeah, I think Jesus they put him in like a parody sort of Street Fighter game. There was called God Fighter or something, and Jesus was in there. Which was just hilarious. But I think that, so it's kind of like, this is just an anime, right? Like, ugh. Wow. Wow.
The main hero of this cartoon is half demon, but she's portrayed as a savior. This sends a very weird, dangerous, and demonic message that demonic roots can and should be embraced for good instead of being rejected and cast out.
What? It boggles the mind that they take it seriously. It really does. While at the same time, if sort of Muslims took, shooting stars are thrown by Allah down to a lantern's thrown by Allah, they would absolutely laugh at someone taking that seriously. It's wild, right? It's wild.
The Bible clearly states that light and darkness should not mix. The hero isn't somebody who's freed from the demonic influence. She actually is a demon who learns to accept herself.
Yeah. So this is just a metaphor for somebody's dark side, right? Like, it's just a metaphor for somebody having a darker side of them, and we all do. That's the thing. We all do. It's just a metaphor, my guy. It's not literally, like, demons are not in fact real. This is what you've got to remember, is Vlad missed the message when we found out demons weren't a thing. That he thinks they're very real. Which is wild.
That's a pretty dangerous message, not only for the children, but for everyone.
Oh, won't someone think of the children? The children are fine. The children are dancing. They're having fun. They're like singing songs. Leave them alone. You know what one of the biggest predictors for mental illness in young people actually is? One of the biggest predictors is, do they believe in demons? Okay, that's one of the biggest predictors of whether young people will get mental illness or not. So if they believe in demons, there's a good chance they will. Because that leads to all kinds of erroneous beliefs, delusions. If a child has schizophrenia, they may take that absolutely seriously. It is a problem. You've got to stop teaching children things that do not fucking exist. Because they don't exist. There's no ghouls, there's no ghosts, there's no goblins, there's no demons, there's no spirits, there's no leprechauns, no fairies, no frigging Bigfoot. Maybe a Bigfoot Jesus. Maybe. Okay, I'm prepared to go out on a limb for that one. All right, I'm prepared to maybe go out on a limb for that one. But stop fucking teaching kids that spirits and crap is real. It's fun. Mythology is fun, but we don't pretend it's real. Reading horror things is fun. But stop pretending that, frigging ghosts are gonna come for kids. Stop it. Ugh.
Scripture is very clear. Demons must be cast out, not embraced. The third message that this cartoon sends is that it uses music as a spiritual weapon outside of God.
It uses music as a spiritual weapon outside of God. Look, I don't think this is even that out there. I don't think this is that original idea. The idea of music being used to combat the forces of evil isn't entirely outside the realm of stuff that's been done in anime before. It's weird. Yeah, I know. They grow up into adults that believe the same, Fern. I'm right there with you, mate. It's just we know that sort of that sort of thinking is a predictor for that sort of mental illness where you think these things. It is delusional. It is a delusion to think that demons are attacking you. There are no demons. Left-handed Jedi for $2. There is toast. Follow the toast. Oh, hang on a sec. We got to get So I've just started using some of these. Yeah, we just got to Left-handed Jedi for $2. Follow the toast. Absolutely. 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 Yeah, no, I see you, Godspeed. They want to have, if people have problems and issues, they don't want for them to embrace and accept themselves. Because don't forget that Christianity can only offer you a solution when they convince you that there's a problem. And in order to solve this problem, you need Jesus. If you're accepting parts of yourself and doing self-reflection and going, or seeing a therapist and saying, okay, why do I feel this way? What is it that is causing this within me? They don't get donations and crap anymore to fight the demons. It's so predatory, it's ridiculous.
While the Bible affirms music as a very powerful tool that could be used in worship.
Mission accomplished then, Archer. Mission accomplished then. We love toast. I don't know. I haven't had toast for ages. I got to admit to you, I haven't had toast for ages. I sort of cut a lot of carbs out of my diet because I was eating a lot of bread and stuff. So I haven't had toast for ages.
And warfare, this movie ties music to occult-style power rather than to the Spirit of God. Kids may come away thinking that any spiritual sound is fine, when in reality, music can actually open doors to spiritual bondage.
Oh, it's the satanic panic again. Are you talking about rock and roll, death metal, all the non-Christian music? I bet you anything this guy has got music available on his frigging website. What was it called? Hungry Gen Church or something? Ugh. It's in Washington. Okay, Pasco, Washington. Hungry Gen Church. Hungry generation. What are they hungry for? Does anybody know? Would that be Jeebus? A seat for a soul. We believed for 1,000 people to give $1,500 per seat, and together we did it. Every seat is now secure, and countless lives will be impacted for eternity. Wow. 1,500 to watch this guy talk to you about frigging K-pop and demons. Ugh. Oh yeah, no, he absolutely. Hold it, I got to share this with you. What? Why am I not surprised? Like, why am I not surprised? I'm not surprised at all. Hungry Gen Worship acoustic session available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. I am so unsurprised. It's incredible. So I think we found out why he doesn't like K-pop. Is it that no one's listening to your Christian bullshit, and sort of, people are actually listening to K-pop? We're in the wrong business. Yeah, no, I get you, Ember. I get you. Absolutely we are. Absolutely.
This cartoon portrays music as this ultimate weapon against evil. Yes, music is spiritual. David's harp drove away tormenting spirits.
Well, it's just David's harp then. David's harp K-pop group. What's the difference? Oh, one's doing it for Jesus. We can't have anything but the Jesus music, because the Jesus music you can get on Apple and YouTube and Spotify. Don't forget to check out Hungry Gen Music. Buy my DVDs.
But here, music is divorced from God's presence, and it's turned into this mystical force of self-expression that fights out demon spirits.
Oh, self-expression and music? How dare they? How dare they? Self-expression and music. It's just unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. You can't do music to express the human condition and the feelings that you're going through. You have to talk about Jesus. Give me a break, man, like seriously.
Spirits and distorts the truth. The fourth message that this cartoon sends is it preaches the gospel of self-reliance.
The gospel of self-reliance. Hey, I don't think it's a gospel to start off with. Like, what is a gospel of self-reliance? What? Look, he's basically going, they're going to try and tell you don't need Christianity. How dare they? Like, he's making so much money off of his followers. This is so self-serving, so unbelievably, cynically self-serving, that he's like, no, they told you can look out for yourself and, heal yourself. No, you've got to have the church. As you're making money from these people. It's so cynical. It's so bad. I really dislike people like this. That's like, oh, well, you need us. You absolutely need us. Because without us, you're doomed. You're doomed without us. Now, give me money. Give me $1,500 for a seat.
The resolution is found in God's forgiveness. But in the cartoon, you have to learn to accept yourself as a half-demon. This actually echoes the message of this world of self-discovery, self-empowerment, New Age. It's not.
What? Look, I'm not a big fan of New Age stuff, but the self-empowerment thing of New Age and the sort of, the ideas of meditation, healing, acceptance of yourself are not bad. You do have to accept yourself. Why don't you just deny who you are, go to church, believe in Jesus? It's not fucking healthy, my guy. Stop. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible message that this guy's giving across. Like, don't accept yourself. Deny who you are. Believe in Jesus. Even, at the cost of your own, your own mental health, like believe in demons. This isn't healthy. It's not a healthy way to live.
Not accepting God's call to repentance, deliverance, and new birth. So instead of pointing people to repentance, the movie glorifies embracing shame. This Rumi's big turning point is...
Okay, we don't embrace shame. That's not embracing shame. That's not embracing shame. Okay, that's stopping being ashamed of who you are. Oh, in time raid? Oh, in time. In time. Welcome, welcome to all the in timers. Time adventures. Oh, look, Nick's been doing some fantastic stuff. Nick does news and current events, which he's had a lot to cover recently. It's yeah. But this is wild. It's kind of, embrace shame. No, shame's never useful. It's learning not to be ashamed of who you are and accepting who you are, because that's who she is. Like, just accept it. Time raid. Run. Yeah, run. It's the in timers. Welcome, time travelers. You are now in the future. It is now Friday. Okay, is it Friday there? No. So you've traveled into the future in the mystical land of Australia, where it is Friday. All day, in fact.
when she declares she won't hide anymore who she truly is.
Yeah, that's not embracing shame. That's stopping being ashamed of who you are. It's embracing yourself with all of its flaws and all of its good parts. We've all got flaws, right? We can blame them on demons. It's not healthy. What is healthy is say, hey, I have these flaws. How do I address them in a healthy way that is constructive rather than being self-destructive? And that takes a lot of work, a lot of reflection. It takes, just praying to Jesus isn't the answer, because you never actually address what those flaws are. You never actually look at them. It's why we see the Christians do all of this terrible behavior, repent and do it again, and then repent and do it again. And that's their cycle. This is trying to break the cycle. Stop being ashamed of what you're feeling and go, how do I express these emotions in a healthy, constructive way? How do I make my life more constructive and healthy rather than just repent and then do it again? Oh, happy birthday, Titan. It's not Thursday, but I'm going to allow it. Happy birthday, Titan. I didn't even know. I got the, yay. Happy birthday, Titan. Happy birthday. I got to find some more of these things, to be honest with you. Happy birthday. Woohoo. You're reading my thoughts? Yeah, look. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Yeah, come on. Let's get some love for Titan in the chat. Titan's my main head mod. Absolutely terrific. Tries to keep me out of trouble. Does not succeed a lot of the time, but I really appreciate the sentiment, Titan. I really appreciate the sentiment of trying to keep me out of trouble, which you fail at completely. But that certainly is not your fault. That is not your fault. It certainly is not your fault. Look, greater people than Titan have tried to keep me out of trouble and failed. So yeah. Laying around eating junk food? Perfect. Perfect. May you enjoy your birthday, and may the cake not be a lie. There you go. I lots of love, Titan.
even if it means being a demon. Biblically,
Yeah.
shame can actually serve a holy purpose.
No. And this is where, okay, I got to stop here because this is awful. This is awful. Shame can serve a purpose. No, it doesn't. So, there is a question that I've addressed. You've gotten much better. I disagree, but sure. Look, you're entitled to your opinion. Look, okay, so shame is never a good thing, right? It's not constructive at all. What is the difference between shame and guilt? And we talk about it a lot. Like, I feel ashamed of this, I feel ashamed of that. Not useful. So shame and maybe you sort of you're conflating the terms. Maybe somebody is saying, hey, I feel ashamed of this, when really they just feel guilty. So shame is the internalization of guilt. Guilt is regret over an action or something you've done, kind of thing. Shame is the internalization of that. So I'll give you an example, right? Somebody steals something, okay, and they feel guilty about it. What shame is it's the internalization of, I am a bad person. I am nothing but a thief, right? It's defining yourself as that action you did. The reason why shame isn't useful is because if you internalize that label to yourself or that identity to yourself, you will act in accordance to that, right? It's why affirmations, I know they're corny, when somebody looks into a mirror and they go, oh, I'm a great person, I'm a fantastic person, I'm really confident, I'm all of these things, that's what I am. That is internalization of messages, basically. It's you trying to identify yourself with these things. I haven't found affirmations to be particularly useful, but some people do, and that's okay. They're positive internalizations of stuff. Shame is a negative one. So if you're like, well, I am nothing but rags, I'm a filthy sinner, I keep doing wrong things because I am a horrible person, right? That is shame. That is the internalization of guilt to make it part of your identity. And that's bad, because you're not that person. Your actions are not you. You can change them. So shame is never a useful emotion. It never is. And the problem is that it reinforces that identity into the person. That if they say, hey, I'm worthless and valueless and I'm an evil person, they will act in accordance with that. Same as if they say, hey, I'm a confident person who can do anything. They will internalize that as well, or at least that's the idea. So guilt being, guilt is useful, right? It moderates our behavior, saying, hey, I did a bad thing. I stole something. I feel guilty about it. I did a bad thing, right? That is useful. But be careful we don't define ourselves by our mistakes, by our guilt, right? It doesn't define you as a person, because people make mistakes and everybody feels guilty over the mistakes. Sure, yes, great. Whoa. I did not look at the chat. That's a lot of green. Eric Wanda. Eric, you are an absolute champ, and I will get my voice out. You're gonna make me do it, aren't you? You're gonna make me do it. That's okay. I'm here for it. I just have to get my announcer voice going. And we have super chats from Eric Wonder, and it goes out to Fern Love Bond, TJKJT. I don't know how to pronounce that. Blaster Master 80. Jamnik 06. Curious Kingdom 420. The Morning Star. Lock right. And entering the ring is Tay. Oh god, that's so long. It's so long. Thylacolian anarcho-capitalist Kennedy. Aaron Colson. And it's your birthday, Titan Uranus. I had to read that just for Titan's birthday. I just had to. Sorry. I just had to. Aussie Gold. Better than Ember. Sir Little Wolf. I better hurry up. This is never going to end. Jeff C. Jake. Insert clever dapper joke inside joke here. Nelson. Gregory Nietsky, Robin Webster, Marty Cameo, Binge Thinker, and Al Drucker. Winners, chicken dinners. Save my voice? Never. Better people than you have tried to stop me from making mistakes. It's never happened. Winner, chicken dinner. It's okay. This is a wrestling announcer voice kind of thing. Yeah, it's a wrestler. Look, I was watching BattleBots, and then the announcer did this voice, so I decided to do that for my thing. Actually, do I have any Do I have any? Yeah, thank you so much, Eric. It's awesome, mate. Absolutely awesome. Thank you so much. And I'll just see if I've got any gifted free ones. Oh, I do. Okay, so more go out. Let's do it. Well, here's some more just for you, Eric. Just for you. I didn't realize I hadn't given them out. So, absolutely. Look, I will ruin my voice. And thank you, Mark Reed, for 5 memberships. They go out to B.S. Lewis, Captain Butt, Keystone, Aeon, Atheist Dude 101, Graham, J. Curling. Excuse me, I'm not Canadian. It's an interesting game, though. I think, is curling the only sport where you use a broom? It's got to be, right? Except for maybe Quidditch. Quidditch and curling. Maybe they're the only two that you use a broom. Maybe. I'm not sure. If there's a third one, please do let me know. Like, if there's like Olympic dust panning or something, I need to know. Bye, Fern. Look, I do my best. If it was your channel, you'd use a golf announcer. I don't know what that is, aren't you? I have no idea what that is. So, you know, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that. Golf announcer voice. And now in the back 9, I have no idea. Look, I do my best. Competitive sweeping? Yes.
Because it alerts us to sin. And it leads us to the cross, where Jesus removes our guilt and our shame. We don't embrace our shame and embrace our sin as identity.
No, since shame is internalization, the only person that can remove it is yourself. And maybe that's the gospel of self-reliance. The only person that can change your mental states and your perspective on things is yourself. So therapy is really helping you help yourself. Like, it really is talking you through your own therapy. It's not just somebody telling you what to do. This whole thing of self-reliance, I think he's just angry that people are saying that they don't need Jesus in order to be well, in order to be healthy, functional humans. And guess what? You don't. the from someone that comes from, well, I guess Europe, Eastern Europe, he comes from Ukraine. Like, there's a lot of countries around there with a very low Christianity, but their people are doing fine. You don't need Jesus to be healthy. You don't. Look, if you want to do that, that's fine. But I really worry at this whole thing of, oh, shame's really useful. No, it's not. No. Now, you might be talking about guilt rather than shame. Shame is never useful, ever.
Identity or demon part of us or the flesh part of us, we crucified. We bring it to the cross, and the cross does its work. The fifth message is that it glamorizes demons for young audiences.
Demons are not real, sir. They're not real. And I don't think it glamorizes them because it's sort of like they're literally hunting them and locking them up. Like, let's not forget that they're not real. I mean, I know that, like, it really is, like, my cynical side says he needs demons to be real because he makes money from it. He makes money from, people with demons coming up and he casts them out kind of thing. This is the problem.
Bright colors, catchy songs, and idol-like performers make darkness look fun and attractive. What scripture calls
Isn't it like light versus dark? Isn't it making the light look attractive and the dark to be cast out? Isn't it saying that even somebody who's half demon can be redeemed? Oh, she didn't use Jesus. That's the real problem. Yeah.
dangerous? Ephesians 6:12, 1 Peter 5:8. The movie packages as entertainment. And this can plant seeds of fascination with demonic themes, demonic spirits, and demonic agenda.
No, because nobody thinks they're real who's watching it. Nobody thinks they're real. This is the problem. Like I said, one of the main predictors of whether children will grow up with mental illness is whether they believe in demons or not. It is a problem that kids, like, these people that are watching it, and yeah, I get that people are being led down into some pretty dark places, like those the Slender Man girls, for instance, who killed one of their friends. Really horrible places, I get that. But nobody's saying these demons are real.
By showing Rumi falling in love with the demon and singing emotional duets, the film makes viewers sympathize with demons. And what that does is it desensitizes kids and adults to the real danger of spiritual darkness. So parents, teenagers, or kids,
can you point at this spiritual darkness? Can you show it to us? This spiritual, like, I get people saying, oh, spiritual darkness is a metaphor for their own emotional and mental states. Yeah, I get that. But he's talking as it's like this actual thing out there. Like, you can't even show us this thing. Like, this is not real. Some writers in a back room made it up. And the problem is, here's the problem. The problem is idiots like this trying to teach people that these things are real things that are coming to get them. Right? That the demons are out there trying to break into the world. No, there's no fucking demons, dude.
Here's my heart. K-pop Demon Hunters is not just entertainment. It's an entrance into your soul. It's also teaching a worldview where sin is identity, shame is good.
Sin is identity. No. Like, that's just one part of her. It's one part of her identity. It's teaching that you aren't identified by what you are. You're identified by what you do, how you choose to act, who you choose to be. It's basically saying that, hey, how you were born and what you are doesn't identify you. And that's a good message. That's a really good message. Was that Buffy? Yeah, I dread to think what he thinks about Buffy, because that had demons all throughout it. Maybe we should look for that, Sir Little Wolf. Maybe we should look for, Christian talks about Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And demons are lovable. It's planting seeds that confuse good and evil. And that is exactly opposite of what Jesus taught and the opposite of the gospel. We need to teach our kids that Jesus, not self-discovery or self-expression, has authority over demons. Shame.
Wow. Yeah, teach the kids to repress their dark sides and not deal with them at all. Instead, just to appeal to Jesus. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Ugh.
Shame is not something to embrace. It's something to bring to the cross, where Christ forgives our sin, and then shame is taken away, and he heals us of our shame. We teach children our identity is found not in half light and half dark, but in new creation in Jesus Christ, as it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5.
And don't forget, this music, it's not Christian music. There's music on my website, Hungry Gen Music, available on Spotify. Bring them to the cross, and then we take away shame. No, because you're still reinforcing that shame, that you're as dirty rags, that you are nothing compared to the Jesus mythology, that you are scraps. Like, what's the other thing they say? We're scraps on you know, in the light of the Lord or something. Like, seriously, it is such a bad message.
Verse 17. Parents, be alert. Don't let Netflix disciple your children more than the Word of God does. Thank you for watching this video, and share this with somebody, and let me know in the comments your thoughts.
They're not even trying to disciple. It's just a K-pop show, my guy. No one's trying to disciple you. It's a made-up show. Like, it really worries me that Christians, they don't seem to know the difference between a show and reality. Like, teaching your kids what is reality and what is made up. It's wild, right? Give me one sec. I'm on it. I'm on it. Okay. Give me one sec. Give me one sec. All right. All right. All right. All right. There you go. There you go. Okay. I'm on it. I'm paying attention. Okay. Your wish is possibly my command if I feel like it. If I feel like it. I'm just saying it was. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. There you go. There you go. You get to vote. You get to vote. I wonder what my wife would vote. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask her. I'm gonna have to ask her who's sexier, Spike or Angel. I feel like she's gonna say Spike. I feel like she's gonna say Spike, and I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we've got another one here. If you do want me to continue, I fucking will. This one's a bit longer, so I'll see how I go. But this is from a couple of years ago. Same dude, right? Same guy, okay? And he's annoying, but like, I just want to point out why he's just absolutely terrible. Now, this one's hilarious. It's Little Mermaid is straight demonic, right? Like Little Mermaid is, you know, under the sea, that's straight demonic, you know, just demonic. I dread to think why. The original Little Mermaid, if you didn't know this, the original Little Mermaid was actually pretty horrific, right? Like, it was actually a pretty horrific story. I think that, like, it wasn't a Disney thing. It was Hans Christian Andersen, right? So it was sort of one of a Danish writer, I believe, that just sort of, and it was pretty horrible what happened to her in the end. Like she dies in the end. It's pretty horrible. It's pretty horrible. It's a tragic story of sort of lost love kind of thing. Yeah, so basically she drinks a potion from a sea witch, basically gives her legs, but she has pain of losing her tail. If she wins the prince loves and marries him, um part she will obtain a soul only if she wins the prince loves and marries him, for then a part of her soul will flow into her. Otherwise, at dawn on the first day after he marries someone else, the mermaid will die with a broken heart and dissolve into sea foam among the waves. Spoiler alert, in the original story, the prince marries somebody else, and she kills the prince and lets his blood drip on her feet. But however, if the mermaid kills the prince and lets his blood drip on her feet, she'll become a mermaid once more and all her suffering will end. However, the mermaid cannot bring herself to kill the sleeping prince lying with the princess. She throws the dagger and herself off the ship into the water and dies. Devil May Cry? Devil May Cry? Devil May Cry? Yeah, so Little Mermaid is a pretty horrific tale. It's pretty horrific. But in the end, she gets to go to heaven because she sacrificed herself instead of killing the prince. So apparently that's a thing.
Little Mermaid movie is coming out, a remake of the Disney animated movie of 1989. And the movie is based on a fairy tale that was written by Danish author Hans Christian Andersen in 1837. Yep. Now, the idea that mermaids, witches in the water, spirits in the water is actually not far-fetched from the reality that spiritual world is real.
The reality. My guy, you need a different definition of reality. Seriously. He really needs a different definition of reality, because the spiritual world is real. Okay, if you're talking spiritual as a metaphor, then yeah, maybe. But if you're talking spiritual as in, there are mermaids. Come on, my guy. Seriously. Seriously. Are you seriously sitting there saying, hey, mermaids are real?
And there are principalities and spirits that have their headquarters in the water. We see references of Jesus.
Oh, really? Where are these headquarters? The Mariana Trench? Why haven't we found them, Vlad? Can we maybe get them to service the undersea cables that we've laid for internet? Vlad, is that something we can do? No, spiritual agents don't do that? Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it was getting ridiculous for a second there.
Rebuking the water, the waves, and the sea. We see demons entering pigs and going into the water. And
I'm sorry, because Jesus exorcised spirits into pigs and then drove them into the water. Are pigs mermaids? Is that what we're saying now? The headquarters are Atlantis. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Yeah, look, this is like this guy's grip on reality. Holy crap. Holy crap. Ugh.
We also see that in deliverances where demons would say that they are in the water. They live in the water, in the ocean. And first time that I've heard that.
Well, then don't get baptized, because when you're dunked in the ocean, you know, if the spirits are there in the ocean, ugh. What are you talking about? Look, my guy, like, seriously. This guy would read Call of Cthulhu and take it seriously. Like, what the hell? There's no spirits in the ocean apart from, you know, rum that's gone overboard. That's the only... Well...
From, you know, a demonic spirit. Of course, you take everything the demons say with a grain of salt. But at the same time...
What do the demons say? What do the demons say? Have you heard them? Has anyone else heard them? come back to reality, seriously.
As you're beginning to see more and more references in the scripture, and then a lot of the ancient cultures have different references in their mythology, their belief system about idols and gods that they worshipped. And these were not fairy tales for them. These were real beings that they worshipped. And we as Christians understand that these...
Yeah, that I get you, but you know, in the ancient Celtic mythology and Pictish mythology, there were fairies and stuff. It doesn't mean they're real. Like, just because I need a pig mermaid now. Oh, yep. Look, if you wanted to, it would be more believable for you to say that manatees were the pigs that Jesus drove into the water. Like, it would be more believable. It would be more believable than, hey, there's spirits in the water. What the fuck? Thanks, Aunt Jeff.
These idols, in one sense, they are nothing. When you build a statue, it's nothing. But in the other sense is they represent real entities that are real in the spiritual world. And the Bible actually pulls the curtains into the realm of the spirit, tells us that there are spirits that inhabit places. We call them principalities. There are spirits, demons, that seek to inhabit bodies, to live in a body and to pretty much perform their functions through a human body by destroying people, killing people, stealing, abusing, and all this stuff. You know, if Satan is called the prince of the air, it's totally possible that he could have certain parts of his kingdom assigned to different parts of the planet.
Because he's called the Prince of the Air, he could have different parts. He's called Prince of the Air, so Atlantis is real. What are you talking about? What?
Including an ocean, including a sea or a water. So the movie Little Mermaid, I didn't watch it, so I've read it online, kind of the biography of what that is. It's pretty much a little mermaid, Ariel, who dreams of falling in love with a human being, and then she is in a underwater...
Well, no, she doesn't. No, you've already got it wrong. She doesn't dream of falling in love with a human being. She wants to dance. In the original story, she wants to dance. Let me have a look. Oh, no, she does. No, okay. She wants to dance, but she also that the original, she sees the prince. Okay, got you.
Kingdom ruled by her father, who prohibits contact with humans. And then she makes a deal with this witch, and the witch pretty much trades her voice for human legs. One thing leads to another. I guess the witch is fighting the Little Mermaid, so she doesn't get married, and then she finally overcomes the witch, and then she marries this guy named Eric. And then, you know, she finally goes...
Well, that's the Disney version. That's the Disney version, because, you know, if you have a children's cartoon that has the prince marry a princess and scorn the mermaid, and then the mermaid has the option to murder him in his sleep and decides that she will sacrifice herself and commit slide, you know, that's not appropriate for children, because guess what? Ages ago, we didn't have a really decent idea of things. Wow.
Into the sweet sunset, and her father watches her fall in love and be with this guy Eric. The idea of underwater kingdom in the spirit realm and then mermaids is actually not far-fetched. It's not just...
You seem to know a lot for one who didn't watch. What, you mean him or me? I've seen The Little Mermaid. It was ages ago, but I've seen it, like the Disney version. I don't think I've ever, like, apparently it was an opera. I don't think I've ever seen that, but, you know.
Just a depiction of some author's fantasy. In ancient Greece, you know, the god Triton was actually a merman, and the sirens were sea creatures with the upper body of a woman and then the tail of the bird. In Norse mythology, they had a mermaid-like creatures known as Mero, and they were said to inhabit the waters off the coast of Ireland. The idea that spirits, you know, occupy the sea is not just in the ancient Greece mythology, but also in West Africa. They would have a goddess associated with ocean and fertility, and she would be depicted as a beautiful woman with flowing hair, and is said to have abundance and prosperity, exhibit that on those who worship her.
Okay. There's a lot of mermaid myths. Yes. Probably most of them were probably like manatees and dugongs, and sailors made some shit up, dude. Seriously, like sailors incredibly superstitious because a lot of their success and a lot of their survival depended on things that seemed very fickle to them, like the winds and the you know the tides and shoals and things like that. It was very based upon luck. So in order to have control over things, they kind of made crap up all the time. Having a woman on board, it was superstitious. Like you couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. Just stupid crap. Triton is the staff. No, I think Triton was. I thought Triton was the a Greek god of the sea. It was a Titan before Poseidon. Like he was the god of the sea before Poseidon, I think. Maybe. Or was that somebody else? I don't remember. Hang on a sec. Oh no, it's the Greek god of the sea. Son of Poseidon and Amphitrite. Amphitrite. And he's represented as a merman. Okay, well, I mean, it's not Roman, it's Greek. But, what the hell?
As I mentioned, Greek mythology, they have that. In Chinese mythology, they would have Mazu, a goddess in Chinese mythology who's associated with the sea and the protection. And she is said to be a mortal woman who became deified after saving her family from a storm at the sea. In Africa, they would have this Mami Wata, which is a water spirit revered in many of the African regions, including Wudu and Santeria.
I can't believe this guy is arguing for mermaids, like that they're a real thing. Oh boy. Yep, we've come to that point where you're like, reality to aisle 3. Could someone please get this man some reality?
And she's often depicted as a beautiful woman with the long hair associated with prosperity, healing, and protection. The fact that all of these different cultures, even currently, some of them have these spirits that they believe live in the water, and they seek to appease these spirits. And I've seen deliverances. We've had demons confess that they come from the water, or that their headquarters are in the water, that they rule in the water. Tells us that spirit world is real, and a lot of these
that deliverances are and I only learnt this fairly recently. Deliverances are the Protestants or the evangelicals' version of exorcism. It's basically them casting out the demons. They're not as bad as Catholic ones, which are very, very torture the person, but they're still bad. And they're just because you've had these deliverances where the person has said, oh, it's a demon of the sea, especially when you prime them for that, doesn't mean they're real. It shows us that demons are... No, it doesn't. No, it absolutely does not. It shows that people claim that they're real with no evidence whatsoever. No evidence whatsoever. Holy crap.
Mythologies are actually demonic spirits that rule particular regions, territories, and they have particular assignments given by their master Satan. And these people, they knew this, except instead of resisting that pull, they worship those entities, and because of that, they came under demonic influence. We as Christians, we must understand that we don't believe in fairy tales. We believe in...
Oh, the irony is great, isn't it? No, as Christians, we don't believe in fairy tales. We just believe in mermaids and demons and devils and ghosts and souls and spirits, but we don't believe in fairy tales. Oh dear. Oh dear. No, that was great. That was great. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. That's fantastic. I have not seen that. I have not seen that. If you are on the Discord, just throw it on the Discord for me. I'll certainly check it out. I can probably look it up. Oh, we don't believe in fairy tales. Just be wary of the demons and, spirits and ghosts but not fairy tales.
And what the scripture teaches. And the scripture teaches us, for example, the Bible has Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 16 and 17. It says the following: they provoked him to jealousy with foreign gods. Now, if those were fairy tales, why would God be provoked to jealousy? If this is like a Santa Claus kind of a belief where there's no truth to that, why would God be provoked to jealousy? But these were foreign gods, the Bible says. And they provoked him to jealousy with foreign gods. With abominations, they provoked him to anger. They sacrificed. And then it says what? They sacrificed to demons, not to God. So these foreign gods were actually demons. To gods they did not know. To new gods, new arrivals that your fathers did not fear. So we see this. Israel would worship gods they didn't.
How dare you? How dare you worship other gods? Worship me. God seems more angry he doesn't have a monopoly than anything else. It's kind of weird, right? Like, it's just weird that, wow. None of this is real, my guy. None of this is real. There's no mermaids, there's no spirits, there's no demons, there's no devils, there's no anything. Like, if they are, show them.
No, foreign gods, new gods, and new arrivals. And all of this, if this is just a fairy tale, if this is just, because some of you, maybe you're, listening to me talking about mythology and the views of Greeks and, maybe some of the African tribes.
How did you know? How did you know? Yes, we're listening to you talk about mythology, taking it seriously, and laughing my ass off because you actually think this is real. You think this is real. You're like, oh, they're fairy tales, but in fact they're demons because my mythology says that they're demons. Wow. At least he's slightly self-aware.
Tribes and others, like, man.
I mean, he's slightly self-aware at how ridiculous he sounds. Seriously. I mean, at some point, right, you've got to go, you know what? This sounds ridiculous. This sounds ridiculous.
People just came up with that kind of stuff. But if you read that Israel worshiping these idols, and the scripture says that God sees it and says that this is wrong, it's abomination, it provokes me to jealousy. And the scripture pulls the curtains and tells us they actually didn't worship statues. They worshiped demons that were behind those statues. We see a similar reference in Exodus chapter 12.
Oh boy. So Christianity doesn't have any statues whatsoever. No, it's basically saying, hey, my mythology is the only one that's right. The rest are fairy tales. Look, what if yours is just a fairy tale as well?
Verse 12, God says, I will pass through the land of Egypt on that night. I will strike all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and the beast. Against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. So God is saying, I'm going to go to war against the gods of Egypt. If you study the Egyptian religion.
Hang on, back up a second. I will strike all the firstborn. So when we're looking at, is this? Yeah, okay. When we're looking at, so this is hilarious because this is the story of the Passover, right? So it is a story about God hardening Pharaoh's heart so he would not release the Jews. We know the Jews were never, the tribes of Israel were never slaves in Egypt. They might have been a vassal state, but they weren't slaves in Egypt. There might have been a few slaves around that were of Canaanite descent, but, the entire nation was not in slavery in Egypt. But basically, he hardens Pharaoh's heart, so he will not let go of the Jews. And then the Israelites, and then he punishes the Pharaoh for not letting his people go, right? So the punishment is a series of plagues, and that's the plagues upon Egypt. It was I don't remember them all offhand, but things like a plague of frogs, a plague of locusts, blood in the Nile turning to blood, darkness was another one. There was a whole bunch of them. But the last one was something called creeping death, right? So the last one was that the firstborn of every man would die. So sort of a blood curse. Every man would die, as well as all of the animals, all of the every from the slave to the highest noble, the firstborn of everyone would die unless you put blood over your lintel. And the creeping death would pass over that house. So why it's called the Passover. Look, the whole thing is that this is a slaughter of the firstborn of people that had nothing to do. Like, put aside that Pharaoh wanted to let them go, but God hardened his heart to not to. So he didn't really have any control over that, number one, and then is punished for it. Number two, what has some random slave, like you imagine some random slave woman who's Egyptian, and her firstborn, like, dies because what did you have to do with that? Right? Like, this is ridiculous. This is so evil. Like, just taking out the children of people that had nothing to do with the decision, right? Nothing to do with the decision, in order to punish a guy that you made, that you forced into a decision. Like, if there's anything's a demon here, it's your God, right? Like, that is horrendous. That is monstrous. It's so wild. It is so wild that he's using this as an example of God being the true God, because he slaughters people. Yeah, real inspirational story there, Vlad. Force somebody to make a decision that they don't want, then punish the children of people that had nothing to do with it. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Yeah, that's one for the books. There's an inspirational leader if ever I've seen one. Holy crap. Like, why use this example? I don't get it. But, hey. Sure, mate.
Against all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. So God is saying, I'm going to go to war against the gods of Egypt.
Yeah, but he didn't, did he? He didn't punish the gods of Egypt. He punished the people, the firstborn of the people of Egypt. Not just the Pharaoh, anybody. And the animals, by the way. The animals. What did they do? Like, you just have a cow there, and because the Pharaoh was forced by God not to let them go, the cow just loses its firstborn. Great! That'll show them. What the hell?
If you study the Egyptian religion of the past, you will see they had a lot of gods, and so many people say, oh, they're just figment of man's imagination. But
yeah, all gods are a figment of man's imagination. It's time to tune into Reality FM, my guy. Like, reality here. Put that on a crochet pillow. Look, I got to have you answer. Who is sexier in Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Is it Spike or is it Angel? Inquiring minds want to know.
Figment of man's imagination? Yet when Moses came, these people could do magic. They could do miracles. They could do certain things. They had power. And so this was not just a figment of man's imagination. These were spirits. These were gods. And so these gods could occupy territories on the land. They can occupy territories in the air. And they can occupy territories in the sea. We see a similar thing in Daniel chapter 10, verse 13, Daniel chapter 10, verse 20, the prince of Persia, that the Michael, an angel of God, God's...
Hey, there you go. Answers my question. Thank you. Thank you. I was right. Yeah, so, when you're talking about the Egyptian gods, I mean, it's a completely different system. I wish Deviant Outcast was here because she could correct me on a lot of the mistakes I make. But you have Ra, the sun god kind of thing. It is that sort of polytheism where they're anthropomorphizing all of the natural forces of the world. Ra, the sun god. There was a god of the Nile. There was a god of the. It's not really a god of a place. They embody certain natural phenomenon that the people encountered. That's a feature of polytheism, that they would basically put sort of these ideas of gods behind the forces that they didn't understand. Why does the Nile flood every year? Well, we know it's because of tidal motion and sort of, different forces acting upon it, melting of rainwater. There's a lot of different reasons why, but they don't know that. They want to say, hey, the river god gets angry and the rises and all of this kind of stuff. It's not rocket science, my guy.
Top angel would fight against the prince of Persia. Now, God's top angel, archangel, he wouldn't have a resistance with a human prince. But this was a spiritual entity that he was at war with. The New Testament tells us more, that we are not at war against flesh and blood. And the Bible just pulls the curtains, but it says against principalities. So this is not just, we're not talking about demons here. Demons that seek to enter and inhabit the body. We're talking about a higher ranking of these spiritual beings that have certain assignments, principalities, powers.
Yeah, and I believe that's true. And also, they had a sort of relationship with the Pharaoh, who was kind of like a god himself, but not exactly. He was sort of the authority to talk with the gods. So their leader was seen as the person they turned to intercede on their behalf with these natural forces. Now, we kind of know today that, hey, it is people trying to have control over the world around them, especially when events get out of control. It provides some measure of control over something that's completely uncontrollable. But like demons and stuff, come on now, my guy. Like, seriously, you've got to get back to reality. Seriously, I don't know.
Rulers of darkness of this age, and against the spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. So we see almost like these 4 levels of these spiritual beings that have way deeper and greater responsibility and authority over the planet given to them by Satan. And we are in a...
Is there anything, like, is there anything coming up that he actually gets to the Little Mermaid? Like, seriously? Because I'm in here for the Little Mermaid, and he's talking about, like, Egyptian gods. As far as I know, the mermaids were not Egyptian. As far as I know. Was the Little Mermaid Egyptian? I mean, Disney gave her the name Ariel, but I don't think she had a name in the original story. It was just, the Little Mermaid. That was because, why name women? Why name women in stories? It's almost not worth. Then again, in fairness, the prince, I don't think the prince had a name either. It was just the prince. So I guess so. You had the second. Look, Spielcap, I'm so jealous. I would love to have them come around and I could talk to them, but they don't. They don't. I think they put me on a ban list. I think they have.
Are responsible for the air. Some of them are responsible for the sea. Gregory Boyd, in his book God at War, explores the concept of divine conflict in the Bible and how it pertains to the spiritual realm. In fact, he actually uses certain names of spirit.
Okay. Seriously, you're from Ukraine. Can we stop worrying about spiritual warfare and start focusing on the actual warfare that's happening in the world? Gaza, Ukraine, where you're from, ostensibly. The actual warfare. There can't be. Trump promised to stop it. It should have stopped by now. So yeah, I must be mistaken about that.
Spiritual entities that are mentioned in the Bible, including the Yum, the god of the sea, the Leviathan, sea monster, Rahab, which is a sea dragon, and a Behemoth, which to be understood as representing these evil entities, they represent power.
Behemoth was a Mesopotamian god, I believe. Sumerian, I think, to be more exact. Sort of the embodiment of chaos kind of thing. I'm not sure if it actually appears in the Bible, I'll be honest with you.
powers of chaos and evil in the world. He has, and I would encourage you to read the book. He uses different scriptures to pull the curtains of the spiritual world.
What is this pull the curtains? To pull the curtain? Like, seriously, dude, no. You've got to show that there's something behind the curtains and nobody sees it. You're trying to convince people that these things are there when you can't demonstrate them to be there. Like, you're basically saying, hey, this guy makes a bunch of claims. That's pulling the curtains onto the spiritual world, and those claims are real. No, or he could just be making shit up. He could be making stuff up. And you're talking about mermaids. Mermaids, a little mermaid. Mermaids?
Around in the Old Testament, those things are mentioned there. And we read those names, we're like, yeah, these are like some creatures. This is like a fantasy world. This is not real. But this stuff is actually real. These were evil spirits that...
dude, what? But trust me, this stuff is actually real. Yeah, and your livelihood depends on you convincing people of that so you can charge over $1,000 for a seat at your frigging evangelical exorcisms and deliverances, or whatever the hell you want to call it, and your Bible stuff. You charge people a fortune after you've convinced them they need help from you to get relief from this imaginary crap. This is what annoys me. Like, when we have something in the secular world, we say, hey, this snake oil can actually help you improve. You've got to actually be able to demonstrate it. You know, do some controlled testing and demonstrate that it works and it has no adverse side effects. When a religious person does it, they just say, hey, it pulls the curtains on this spiritual realm. Believe me, it's real. And, you know, and here's my next religious thing. Can you pay $1,000 for a seat? Yeah. Praise Jesus.
Occupied, sea monsters, overseeing or ruling in the sea, ruling in the ocean, ruling in those things. So I personally think that these are territorial spirits living and having actual place or a headquarters in actual waters. And
okay, that's a claim, right? Can you go out? I will believe you when you go out and find the actual headquarters. They have a headquarters. Great, go find it. We've got sonar. We've got and I won't pretend that the oceans are explored, but there's no evidence of this. Absolutely no evidence.
I don't see that it contradicting the scripture that evil spirits can take over territories. They can take over the sea and the ocean. And a lot of times what would happen is the sailors of old, they would actually recognize that. In some pagan traditions, mermaids were associated with fertility, prosperity, and they were believed to bring good luck to fish.
As I said, sailors, notoriously superstitious. Notoriously. So we have superstitious sailors, and we have a religion that existed in the Levant ages ago. Why we would go to them to see what actually exists in reality is beyond me.
And sailors, and they were sometimes seen as protectors of the sea and the guardians of the souls who drowned in the sea. In some cultures, these principalities or...
Well, no, not exactly. Porpoises and dolphins were seen as guardians of the souls. Right? It was unlucky to kill a dolphin. Now, everybody agrees that dolphins exist, right? Like, everybody agrees on that. Dolphins are real. I have seen them myself. Okay, dolphins are real. And that could be another possibility of, a sailor that hasn't seen a woman for months on end sees a woman, in the ocean because it's a dolphin, and, after a while, everything looks like a woman. But dolphins are real, but sailors wouldn't harm one because they saw them as the guardians of the souls of sailors. So notoriously superstitious. I wonder what he thinks about the whole don't kill a dolphin or an albatross, like they just went, well, it's unlucky to kill an albatross kind of thing. You know, just sailors be sailors, my guy. Like, they're just superstitious.
Demons, they were believed to have the power of control over the oceans and weather. So the reason why people worship them is because they wanted to have favor, almost like a green light, a passage through the ocean so that they don't drown. And if they do drown, so that their souls will be guarded. Now, we know that all of that is witchcraft. We know that all of that is
we know all of that is witchcraft, but, you know, talking donkeys and talking snakes, that's totally legit, mate. And we all know that a Jewish guy that died 2,000 years ago is the guardian of your soul. Don't be ridiculous. Wow. The lack of self-awareness is just incredible with these people. Oh, they thought that mermaids and dolphins were the guardians of your soul, but we know it was a Jewish guy that died 2,000 years ago, and he's coming back any day, trust me, bruv. A sailor wouldn't harm a dolphin, and they wouldn't harm a albatross. Those were considered bad luck to kill.
demonic, and we know that.
Well, Western sailor, I should make that clear. Western sailor. Japanese, not so much. Not so much.
God is the ruler over the seas and over the oceans, that God has all the authority. Jesus says all the authority is given to me, but we still know that this authority being given
to you, just to you, right? God has authority over everything, and he's given that authority, as he says, to me, to you. Yeah, cool story, bro. Can you show that authority? Maybe stop Texas from flooding at a certain point? Is that possible? Is that possible? Maybe stop some tsunamis, you know? No. Can you, you know, lower the sea level a bit so islands aren't disappearing since you have all this authority? No, not possible? Okay, well, you know. Just thought I'd ask, Mr. I've got authority over the oceans and the seas. Am I breaking up? Am I breaking up at all? Ugh. Hold on. I seem to be having a problem with my channels, which is weird. Why it's not connecting is beyond me. Why? Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, let's go.
given to Jesus does not mean that all the principality, all the demons, all the curses are over. Not yet. They are defeated, but they are not gone. Because when Jesus will establish his kingdom and when heaven will come on earth, we'll see then there will be no more night, there will be no more curse. But until that time, the curses, the demons, the principalities, though they're defeated, they're not gone. They're not dead. The Bible tells us that Jesus is above every principality, that he is above all the demons, that he is above all the dominion.
All the mermaids. He's above all the mermaids. All the mermaids. Jesus is above all the mermaids. Yeah. Why should I believe that? What? Like, he's basically going, yeah. There's mermaids and spirits in the ocean and seahorses, you know, kelpies and all of these fantasy creatures. But believe in Jesus because he's got authority over all of them. It's basically like a, you know, when two people are arguing over whether Goku or Superman is better. You know what I mean? Like, it really is that level of fantasy, which sort of brings us back into the anime spiel. He's basically saying, oh, all of these people have these mythological traditions, but they're not. They're not all these things that they thought they were. They're what my mythology says they are, because my mythology is better than everybody else's. It's so stupid.
And powers. All things were created through him and for him. We see that he is seated above all of that in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 21. We see that Jesus, we in him are complete, and he's the head of all principality and power, Colossians chapter 2, verse 10. We see that principalities cannot separate us from the love of God, Romans chapter 8, verse 38. And we see that the wisdom of God is made known to the principality.
Yeah, so now he's just sort of preaching Bible verses. So I might call it there, because seriously, what the hell? Like, seriously. Oh, my camera's gone a bit weird. Hold on one sec. All right, there we go. Wow. I mean, So basically, why mermaids are evil. What was his thing? Yeah, Little Mermaid is straight demonic because they were demons because other cultures had ocean mythology around gods and mythological creatures that happen to inhabit the ocean. Okay, not all of them were mermaids, but that doesn't matter to this guy. They had ocean myths. Ocean myths are not myths, they're in fact demons. Jesus is superior to demons, therefore they are straight demonic. This man lives in a fantasy world. And like, let's not forget the K-pop thing. Like, it's like, shame is useful. He actually said that shame is useful. They're teaching you to accept yourself and come to terms with any kind of failings and any dark side. So therefore it is evil because they're not doing music for Jesus. You know, and the most frightening thing is that people believe this bullshit. That is the most, that's the weirdest thing ever. Like, he's weird, yeah, the way he's talking about pulling the curtains on the spiritual realm. Seriously? You're not pulling the curtains on anything. You're asserting stuff and then people are believing your bullshit. That's what's happening. Like, you're not showing anything. Like, when you pull the curtain on something, you have it for all to see. You're not pulling the curtain on anything. You're claiming a whole bunch of things and your followers go, yeah. That is not pulling a curtain, my friend. That is basically you claiming something. Claiming something and that only people that believe can see the same thing. Yeah, that's not pulling the curtain. That is literally preaching to the choir. But yeah, no, now I have to see K-pop Demon Hunters thanks to this man. I have to see it. I have to see it. You know, I feel like it's going to be a South Korean and American combined cartoon, like animated series involving K-pop that's going to be probably pretty healthy and pretty affirming. You know, pretty cool. That's what I feel like it's going to be. Now, I'm not huge into K-pop, but now that this guy says he hates it so much, I've got to see it. I have to. So I promise I'll watch that before the next Fundamentalist Fails. So that was Vlad Sladiov? I don't remember his last name. It was Vlad Savchuk. I do apologize if I'm butchering that. Vlad Savchuk, who runs the Hungry Gen Church. What a name. Hungry Gen Church, out of Washington, the state Washington, I believe, and thinks that demons and mermaids are real. Demons and mermaids are real. Look, I don't mind Christians that use demons as a metaphor for something. You know, I have all these personal demons. Yeah, I get what you're saying. You have all of these habits, these things that you do that are wrong. You feel guilty about them. Okay, I get that as a metaphor. But literal demons, we've got to stop blaming stuff on spooks and spirits and ghosts and goblins and things like that. It's fun to, you know, dress up for Halloween and stuff, but there is no spiritual realm attacking us, making us do anything. Humans need no encouragement from any spiritual realm to be destructive. That's just humans being humans. Like, we don't need any encouragement in that field. But accepting your failings and the things that you would like to change and dealing with them in a healthy, productive way is the way to go, not basically going to a church and having some random Ukrainian wave over your head and tell you that he's casting out your shame or whatever. What the hell? Anyway, I think that was a total fail by him. Like, nothing was shown about why it was demonic. This is just, ugh. There is no Noddy. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no Noddy. Look, there's no Noddy. There's no spirits. There's no angels. There's no demons. We have enough problems in the world. And I have enough personal problems without worrying about demons and devils and things like that. But once you understand it's all you and you do have the power to change it, that's what he's annoyed about. But people won't need my church anymore. That's not true. It's still a place of community. People still get together. It's just, it's easier to get money off people if you assure them that you're fighting evil. You know, you can really get them to put money in if without you, they're going to be accosted by demons or something. So yeah, we don't need the deliverance, and we don't need the you know, any of that stuff. But yeah, this was great. I really enjoyed this, and what a weirdo. What a weird guy. Like, seriously, demons and angels and K-pop and trolls and possibly elves, possibly fairies. You know, gnomes rate very highly on my list of things that don't fucking exist. You know, come back to reality, people. It's fine. It's fine. It's losing customers to reality. I like that. Well, that's the story of Christianity at the moment. I mean, people are going, well, how do I get better? How do I get a better life? And it's not praying to Jesus. It's not. Jesus, what has Jesus done for me lately? Nothing. Anyway, yourself ever. Don't believe that. It's not a useful tool to change behavior. Being guilty over things is okay. Be aware that guilt can be helpful. You have done something, you feel guilty about it. But don't internalize that. It doesn't make you a bad person intrinsically. You can feel guilty, but you can change to be a better person. You can change your actions. And it isn't being half demon or being half of a different race or being gay or being anything that makes you a bad person. It's this sinful, like you are this, that we've got to stop. It is your actions and the content of your character that makes you a good or a bad person. How you decide to implement the feelings that you have and the problems that you have and the struggles that you have that makes you good or bad. It's not to do with who you are. Reject Christian toxicity. Be kind to each other. Don't try and shame them for what they've done. If somebody should feel guilty, totally understand it. Don't denigrate them as a person. Just what they're doing is bad. So do take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everybody.